Welcome to the 10th episode of The Window to Dubai. I'm here with Andreea, who is a public speaker, an MC, and a public speaker coach. What's the right term?
Public speaking coach.
Nice.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yes, I'm glad. We connected through Instagram, I think, originally, and kind of pulled it together pretty quickly. So I'm glad you're here. And I know you're super busy, so I'm glad you squeezed us in.
I'd had, since you're an Aries fellow, and you have an amazing presence, and we have common friends who spoke very highly of you, I said yes in a heartbeat.
Yes, thank you. I really appreciate you coming on. You started out originally coming here in 2004. And you were originally from Romania. You came here and you started out just kind of working odd jobs. Kind of tell that story.
Okay, if we go back in time, I arrived in Dubai 14 years ago, and I was working in a hotel, I was a hostess, then I was a sport trainer. I was just trying to find my way in the city. I was fresh out of high school, trying to find my purpose in life.
Yeah.
And I couldn't really find my purpose in life at that time.
Yeah.
And modeling seemed an easy idea, and given that I was passionate about the arts and fashion, it so happened that the fashion scene in Dubai was just starting.
Yeah.
I was just starting my career, so it was a perfect merge.
Yeah. So you ended up doing modeling here.
Yeah, so I've started 2006, and it was catwalks, photo shoots, editorials. But prior to actually starting becoming a professional commercial model, I had to work on my appearance. So I was gifted by Mother Nature with a bigger nose that I have now. So I had to go under the knife and polish that. I was wearing braces, and only after I created that symmetry, I was able to then work a lot. So I was amongst those top 5-10 favorites models of the directors, of the photographers, of the designers. And I walked the ramps of...
And this is before Instagram, so it was like a real model.
Thank you.
I don't mean that in a weird way, but it's before the Instagram days.
Thank you. That's really cool for you to say that. Yeah.
Yes.
So I'm the only model who has done 6 consecutive campaigns for Emirates Airlines.
Oh wow.
I was also their face in 2011. So one of the campaigns that I've done for them was posted and used everywhere in the world.
Wow.
And that also helped me to do much more ads. I've done more than 70 TV commercials, been on several billboards, and truly enjoyed that lifestyle of a fashion model in the UAE. Yeah,
and so obviously modeling always has kind of an expiration date in some level, and you were kind of at that stage where you wanted to figure out what you were going to do. How did you decide to go from modeling to public speaking? Because really you're not speaking a lot as a model, right? I mean, you're just...
As a model, you speak a lot with your body language, with your eyes, with your expressions. You emote a lot physically.
Yeah.
And part of communication is 55% body language, as you know very well, 38% tonality, and 7% actually the actual words.
Yeah.
So I think when I was modeling, I was subconsciously or somehow indirectly preparing for my speaking career, because I was doing more than half of the job. When I teach now public speaking, I see how many leaders find it so difficult to be straight, to coordinate their thoughts with their gestures and their voice.
Yeah.
And because I was modeling for 12 years, is now taking me a class or one session to teach that much faster to my clients. Yeah. But going back to the time when I was thinking that, okay, the wrinkles are going to show now, I'm 28, what should we do next? I didn't really know what else I wanted to do aside from being on stage, feeling the limelights, being photographed, wearing those beautiful gowns or those avant-gardist dresses, and just being in magazines.
It's probably an addicting lifestyle.
A little bit.
Yeah.
A little bit, yes. I mean, I was enjoying the artistic part of it, working with designers, with creative minds. Plus, I love to meet people. I love to constantly connect with different people, and that was the most exciting part of my work.
Yeah.
So I didn't really know what to do. However, to my luck, Celine Dion came to town. And when Celine Dion came to town, things changed for good, because she's my idol. I look up to her. I love how she sings. I love how she carries herself in the world. She's so graceful. You know, she does a lot of charity work. She dedicates her life to people who are passing, who are crossing over, and she sings for them. So I was like, I just want to be like Celine Dion. But minus the voice.
Yeah.
I was like, I can't sing, and I'm just going to keep that on the side, but I want to be like Celine Dion. So when she was in concert, I was able to use my connections and be backstage, see her there. I was able to chat with her husband, and I had a few seconds when I was in awe, and I could see her performing. I could see people being mesmerized by her amazing and powerful voice, and I just asked God, what can I do to be like Celine Dion?
Yeah.
And the answer came, because they say, ask and you shall receive.
Yeah.
And the answer was, well, you could present Celine Dion on stage. I was like, I could present, like, yeah, because you like the stage, you remember, you're a model. It's like, okay. I was like, oh, I can present.
Yeah.
I can't sing, but I can present.
Yeah.
So when I went to my friends, because I was doing a little bit of acting, I was having lots of friends in the modeling arena, and I said, guys, I'm going to be a presenter. They were like, oh, you mean like you're going to present in Romanian? Is there a channel?
Yeah.
Like, no, in English. They were like, come on, don't joke like that. It's like, I'm going to learn and prepare to become a public speaker and a presenter. They said, you're never going to make it.
They said this to you?
Yeah.
Wow.
Like everybody. Yeah. There was not even one person who said, yeah, sure, it's a great idea. Nothing. They said, no, your grammar is not so strong, your vocabulary is poor, the level of your English is below average. Yeah. It's going to be a really, really rocky road. And I said, watch me.
Yeah.
And I don't know from where I had that strength or power.
It's that self-belief.
It was self-belief, but it was more like, I really want to be on stage.
Yeah.
I want to entertain people. Do I have what it takes? No. I was honest. I realized. But I said, well, everybody starts somewhere. So I rolled up my sleeves and I found myself a coach. After knocking on many doors, going to universities, finding out what programs are out there, found out soon that all the public speaking courses at that time were incredibly expensive, like, $2,000-$3,000 for a day or two.
Yeah.
What can you learn in a day or two? You can't develop a soft skill in 24 hours or 48 hours.
Yeah. So
I found myself a coach who eventually said, after a class or two, he said, I can't coach you. It's like, why? I don't see you as a speaker. I don't think you can become a presenter. I said, no way.
Yeah. Just like that, like, no.
So the world was like, no. Yeah. And I was like, yes.
Yeah.
And again, I just wanted to do what I was stubborn. I'm an Aries. You would understand this.
I know. It's really hard to tell me no sometimes. Even though I'm just beating my head against the wall, I'm like, nope, not giving up.
So from then onwards, I waited for a while and I went back to the initial coach and I said, please teach me. I really want to be a presenter. He said, look, you're very young. Your English is not so strong. You don't know much about speaking in public. You don't have a strong story for you to become a speaker. You don't have like so much life experience.
Yeah.
Now that I can feel how badly you want it, we can start the work. Yeah. Because you're going so much against the tide, against the wind, I wanted to see how strongly and how badly you want it.
Yeah.
So let's start the work. So it took me about 4 to 5 years.
4 to 5 years.
To take elocution classes, to reduce because I also had I came with a Romanian strong, thick accent.
Yeah.
So it took me 1 full year of tongue twisters and elocution classes and pronunciation exercises to learn to move the muscles of my mouth, my tongue. I relearned the phonetical alphabet, the English phonetical alphabet.
Yeah. I
took private classes, polished my grammar, read all the books I had to read. And then took any and every opportunity to speak in public, to practice and polish my skills.
When you were young, you didn't like to talk. You were kind of an introverted kid. So even just the whole idea, at some point you didn't even like to talk. So you know, maybe you can explain.
Sure. So I say this story to everybody who comes to my workshops that people say I'm not confident, I'm shy, I have a low voice, and I'm like, listen, guys. I'm a public speaker for the last 4 years. I presented for all the events that anybody can ever present. And when I was 6, I wasn't able to speak almost at all, primarily because I've lost my father in a car accident. And at his funeral, a member of my family said, Andreea, what's wrong with you? Why don't you cry? Is your father dead who is dying? Why don't you cry?
Yeah.
Like, what's wrong with you?
Yeah.
And I just shut down, like, completely. Because I felt like, I'm just hoping my dad is gonna, like, kind of, by miraculously come to life.
Yeah.
And people are pressuring me to cry. I didn't feel understood. I couldn't speak with anybody. So I felt like, you know what, world? Yeah. I'm giving up on you too.
Yeah. So you just shut down. Yeah.
It was a emotional trauma, as I'm able to realize now.
Yeah.
And so I navigated through school as an invisible kid, as the nerd, as the quiet girl. You couldn't even notice me. I was in class.
Yeah.
You know, I was a good student. I was reading and writing and taking my exams and everything. But when the teachers would ask me, okay, Andreea, let's see, what do you remember about, this particular subject? I was like, basically, I would forget. I would go blank.
Yeah.
Because I was refusing, subconsciously, I was blocking myself from speaking. Because I had my reasons since I was 6 not to want to speak.
Yeah.
And so luckily I've navigated through school because my teachers were like, we can see she's like quite studious and she's putting in the effort. It's just that she can't speak when we ask her to raise. I say to people, if I was able to be bullied when I was 14, to be made fun of, not to be able to, to have I couldn't even spell the word confidence in school. You have those girls going to prom, wearing beautiful clothes, dyeing their hair. I was like ugly Betty. Yeah. I was the ugly Betty. Yeah. I had a bit of facial hair. I had a hunch. Short hair, like I look like a confused girl, boy or girl. Yeah. Girls making fun of me, boys making fun of me even more. I was skinny, but voluptuous, but short hair, with facial hair. I was a mess.
Yeah. I'm trying to not laugh. I'm trying to just be very serious.
You can laugh as much as you want because I have my confidence in check now. Yeah. So I tell all my students, if I've gone through all that and I've cleansed myself, I've reset my confidence level and my self-image, you can do it too.
Obviously dealing with that, and then now you're at a place where you're not only doing the public speaking, you're doing emceeing, but you actually teach it in a class format and on an individual level.
Yeah, I'm resuscitating people's confidence and voices.
Yeah.
Because most often you have the managing director, you have the CEO, you have the the director of the doctors, but their voice doesn't match their title.
Yeah.
So they are fantastic in operations, in logistics, in solving problems, but when you speak to them, their voices go down and they sound depressed or sad, and they don't realize it. They don't open their mouth when they speak.
Yeah.
So it has an effect on the people's emotions with who they interact. So in my classes, I create awareness. I make them record their voices and go through all the process, and they go like, "Oh, now I get it." Yeah. So I teach my bespoke programs. I teach also one-on-one, of course, and I present. I entertain people. Just yesterday, I was at the music hall.
Yeah, I saw your stories. Yeah. And you're doing emceeing, right? This is like an MC thing where you kind of manage the whole thing.
Yes, I become the voice of the brand, where I tell the story of the brand. I entertain, either the VIP, customers or the management, and basically I host the whole event and I make sure people are happy and energetic. Because an MC has to constantly and all the time. An MC raises the energy in the room.
Yeah.
So big responsibility.
Yeah. And so how do you market yourself really? I mean, obviously I see you on Instagram, but how do people find you and say, okay, I want to hire you to teach me how to speak, public speak?
From today onwards, you could definitely give me some ideas on marketing. Okay. I am all ears. But Dubai is very small.
Yeah.
So Dubai is working on word of mouth. If you're good, people will know. If you're not, people will know. So with public speaking, I knew that would be the case. And so I've taken my time to hone my craft and practice before I announced that, ta-da! You can hire me now as an MC. Yeah. Sign up here. So keeping the joke aside, word of mouth helps me a lot. People recommend me, clients hire me again, I have recurring clients. LinkedIn is working for me like a charmer.
Really?
Yeah, I get professionals writing me private messages on LinkedIn, and that was like a charm.
LinkedIn for me has probably been the most profitable social media I've ever had. Instagram has been something where I've created maybe a following and people know who I am, but I don't really monetize it there. Facebook not, YouTube on YouTube, but LinkedIn is definitely the place where people have contacted me and paid me money to do marketing for them through LinkedIn. So LinkedIn is definitely a good platform. What is the process someone goes through? Like, give me kind of a 50-foot view of like, if I come to you and say, I'm horrible at speaking, what do you take them through to kind of help them build that confidence to get on stage?
So before I answer, I also want to mention that when people work on their soft skills and communication skills, it automatically has an impact on their confidence. Yeah. So this is a lifelong skill. You come, you learn how to present, and then it helps you in all the areas of your life, at work, at home, in your private relationships, and that's the beauty of what I do. All right, let's take someone who says, I have a presentation at work and I constantly hesitate to speak. That's the most dangerous thing you can do, to hinder yourself, to keep yourself in a cage, to protect yourself from being seen or heard or maybe made fun of, and not allowing yourself to go up there on the stage of life and say, yeah, I know about digital marketing, I know about engineering, I'm great at cooking, let me tell you a story. It takes a little bit of courage and preparation together to make that step, and then all of a sudden you get a chance to connect with much more people.
Yeah.
So I'm excited to help people achieve that step. There are 3 stages. Mm-hmm. I call this the 3V of communication. It's visual, vocal, and verbal. Visual means how we communicate visually. It's 55% of communication is visual, what you do with your hands, with your eyes. When you are speaking, even on a platform or live, and you open your hands like this, you're telling people you can trust me. Because the reptilian brain receives this message as, I come in peace, you can trust me. Okay. So open your palms, being open. Yeah. Smiling, people forgot to smile. Theoretically, they know they have to be pleasant, but they don't do it. They are so caught up into the agenda, the person, what they have to do. They don't present themselves in an appealing and pleasant way. Yeah. And I'm wondering why. Yeah. And then with me it becomes second nature, because for 12 years when I was modeling, they were hiring me to do this. Yeah. Like non-stop.
You're just smiling for no reason.
So plus, it puts you in a good mood. It releases oxytocin when you're smiling. Yeah. The 55 micromuscles in your face, they send a message to your brain. So if you smile for 2 minutes, you instantly put yourself in a happier mood.
Okay, that's good. I didn't know that.
You just do that for 2 minutes and that's it. You're set, because your brain, these are the brain hacks that we use in public speaking to overcome that fear. So visually, okay, so I help people find out which one of the 3 V's are not in alignment. Because you want your thoughts, your ideas, your stories to be in alignment with your voice and the way you're expressing yourself with your body language. Mm-hmm. So I have to create that alignment between the 3. So some people, I have to work on voice, diction, articulation, Some people are stiff and they don't realize how they do their body language. Others, they have, when it comes to verbal, the verbal, the other V, I have to work on their mindset.
Yeah.
Mindset means how they see themselves, their self-image.
Yeah.
Because when we speak, we have to feel good about ourselves.
Yeah.
We have to be at peace with feeling enough, being okay with where we are at that stage in life. You know, many people fall into the trap of comparing themselves or of wanting to be better than, and they're not accepting that today, I am as good as I am today.
Yeah.
For sure, tomorrow, a week, and a month from now, there's a high chance I'll be better than today. But today, I love and I accept who I am completely.
Yeah. So it's really, sounds like it's not really so much about the actual talk itself. It's really building the person up internally before they even go out and express themselves externally, let's say.
Thank you for saying that. It's really nicely said. Yes, I feel that I have to put the puzzle together and I have to help the person to see the complete picture of who they are from inside and then teach them to praise that person. So it's the inner voice. Because there is so much noise in here, they can't be structured. People can't structure their speech or their ideas, but there's so much noise in here about who they are, and my mother told me, and my girlfriend told me, and my boss said, and I read this article, and your voice and your message gets distorted in all this fluff and noise. And I say to them, stop! Who are you? What do you want from this meeting? Who is your audience? What do they want? Because we have to match what you want with your audience. So yeah, I help them gain clarity on what they want, who they are. And only after that we go into sit up straight, smile, use your hands.
Yeah.
Let's work on the voice, let's memorize.
Yeah, you know, not that it's comparable, but there was a period of my life where I was really chubby and I was really out of shape. And I went and I wanted to do like a men's physique competition to get in shape. And I went on like a 6-month journey of getting into fitness and eating right, but really at the end of it, it wasn't about the working out as much as it was the mental change that the coach that I was working with actually focused on. Because to get you to go from fat to fit, it's not just about physical, it's really about the mental approach towards life. Because now you're planning your meals, you're planning when you're going to do cardio, you're not eating these things, you're not drinking alcohol. You know, like, it's more about the mindset to get to that lifestyle. And I think it's maybe something similar from a coach perspective, like you're more working on the mental aspect than the X's and O's of like how they're going to use their hands and voice inflection.
Absolutely, and congrats for being
well, I'm in the middle, I'm not necessarily fit and I'm not really fat, I'm right in the middle.
But you're feeling good and you're smiling a lot.
Yeah.
And that's the most important thing. The body is considered to be the subconscious mind.
Mm-hmm.
So in order to work on the strength of our mind, we work externally.
Yeah.
We run, we exercise, and we keep on pushing ourselves to do 10 more push-ups, run 5 more kilometers.
Yeah.
And you push yourself physically because you say, oh, I can't, I'm too weak. No, it is your mind that is weak, not your body.
Yes.
Right?
Exactly.
I got this firsthand when I was doing planks. So the first time when I started to do plank, I was like, oh, 30 seconds is a lot.
Yeah.
And then 1 minute was easy. And I realized I can do 2 minutes. I was like, oh, it was never my mind. It was never my body, it was my mind. I was pushing myself. And I said to myself, can I do more? Can I do more? I was curious.
Yeah.
And I think it's fascinating that we get a chance to craft and manage our mind through our body. And it's the same with public speaking. I take people through a lot of rehearsals and they learn the speech to the memory of the body.
Yeah.
Because you have to do gestures to say, I went from this to this. And the body remembers this.
Yeah.
Right?
What is the kind of ultimate goal for you and what you're trying to do? Obviously, you have your own kind of career in public speaking, but you also have the coaching. What's the vision of where you're trying to go with this whole public speaking sphere that you've created for yourself?
I haven't prepared my big speech for my next decade or what I want to do, but I can tell you that I take in extreme pleasure to help each and every individual to build their confidence, and I feel like I'm helping them to birth their new voice, because once they start to work and they understand that their voice doesn't match, or whatever mistakes are there in their speech, I feel like I'm changing lives. And I am changing lives because people tell me how everything has changed for them after they start working with me.
Yeah.
So I think I'm helping the world to sound better, one person at a time.
That's good, yeah. I think you just discovered your motto there.
It's highly possible. I know that the business world is kind of forcing us to have a label, have a motto, because people will relate better to us. But I don't believe in that. I believe in living in the moment and being who I choose to be in that moment. So, this interview will never be, and it has never been, and I'm just being super transparent and authentic. So,
yeah. For me, one of the reasons why I love kind of being a marketing company is I've always been better when I'm serving other people.
Yeah.
I don't know why. If I try to help myself, even when I want to market myself, I'm not as good at it as when I help other people market themselves. And indirectly my entire life, I've always made more money when I help other people. And when my focus is on helping other people, I've never had to worry about money a day in my life. And for some reason, marketing just works perfect, because my whole existence is to help other people be successful, and indirectly I get paid because of that. I don't know if it's the same, but I feel like that service component seems to be in what you're doing, where you're able to really invest in someone and get them to be successful at what they want to do, mainly because you had to start from below zero, like you said, to get there. So you know what it takes to build someone up.
Thank you. So I often call myself the underdog of public speaking, especially because what I haven't had a chance to share earlier is that the industry said, you will never be able to present, because we want the Australian and the American and the British sounding, the speaker and dialect, and you sound so Romanian, so stay in queue after those nationalities.
Yeah.
I was like, that's not fair.
Yeah.
Because I love entertaining people, and I really love people and telling them stories.
Yeah.
So, of course, I corrected my speech, and I took elocution classes to make sure everybody or more people would be able to understand what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And from that point onwards, I started also to focus on people who have similar blockages.
Yeah.
They say, I am from this and that country, and I feel that English is a barrier because it's my second language. And I tell them, it's my second language too.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so, in a almost magical way, the fact that I put myself on stage and I've worked my way up there on, with my own resources, on my own skills, with the help of my own skills, it gives now hope and much more trust to others to take the practice, the rules, the implementation, and be able to achieve similar heights.
So is there any specific case of someone that you've helped that you want to share that kind of sticks out?
There are plenty, but this week actually, thank you for the question. This week I was helping a lady who has a recruitment company, and she's now opening an app, she's getting in line with the whole artificial intelligence and everything, and she was coming from Silicon Valley, and she was getting investors, navigating through different type of events, and she said, Andreea, I forgot I have my TEDx talk coming up, and I didn't have time to prepare. Can you come to my house and help me out? And this was 24 hours before the talk.
Wow.
And I was having my own clients, I was having my own gigs, and I was like, I can't I can't disappoint her, right?
Yeah. You're a much better person than me. I'd figure it out. Go to sleep.
No, I actually have a relationship with her. I was like, yeah, okay. I'm sure you're joking. I'm certain you're joking. And imagine, go to sleep. Your subconscious will figure out the way while you're sleeping.
Just working through your own mind, you'll be fine.
No, I actually went to her house at 10:30 p.m. Rolled up my sleeves again, and said, okay, what do we have here? What's your structure? What do you want to say? Okay, you want to speak about artificial intelligence and how it's helping the recruitment industry to reduce the amount of hours of going through this many CVs. to using the app and the programming of a robot to surf through the CVs with the help of tonality and face recognition. That's your point, okay. And there were two main problems. Her voice was shaky, and she was nervous, she was doing so many things, so she was emotionally overwhelmed. And her ideas were here, in the air, in a cloud. I said, right. I took posts and I started putting them on the floor, and I said, this is your first idea, this is your second. So she had several ideas. And then I helped her physically to walk through each idea, and then I taught her how to connect them. And after that, we started working on melody, tonality, and gestures. And by 1:30 a.m., when everybody was snoring and sleeping and having a good time, I was doing the last rehearsal with her. And then next day at 4 p.m. she called me, she said, I remember everything, I did everything we've said that we will do in the rehearsals, you're amazing, I couldn't have done it without you. So in that second I felt like the public speaking hero, like the hero of the public speaking. With all the flying colors attached to that, because I mean it was the first time when I worked till 1:30 a.m. And solidified a person, reminded her of her core message, of who she is, get her the structure that she needed, work on her voice, and then she was able to make her company, her employees look
she came through.
Good.
That's awesome.
So I want more of those cases because it's just different and exciting. It's like you're calling a doctor, I have pain. Okay, take this injection. You know? So that was different.
Do you have some maybe exercises that you can show me that you put someone through that might help them?
Yeah, it's this one. Just joking. Okay, so.
That was good.
Oh, I have more. I have another exercise for the tongue, to relax the tongue, just like this.
I cannot hold my arms.
That's me imitating a Maserati. Okay, maybe not a Maserati, but some engine. So there are lots of exercises to kind of give you a bigger picture for the diaphragm, because people breathe shallow from here, but in order for us to speak well and to sound confident and to have a good volume and projection, we have to have a solid stream of air that comes from our diaphragm. So there are so first of all, I make people aware to breathe better. Not to mention that that's what calms your nervousness when you breathe better. So we can do this together.
Okay, we're gonna breathe.
I mean, we are already breathing.
We're just gonna breathe better. We're gonna breathe better.
We're gonna breathe better. Hashtag breathe better.
Breathe better.
With William and Andreea.
On the window to Dubai. What did you do today? I was breathing better.
That's good. So I want you to hold your hands on your diaphragm. A bit lower, thank you.
My diaphragm is much higher, I'm sorry.
Don't make me come and touch your diaphragm.
It's okay, I'll let you, it's fine.
Okay, good. And exhale and make the sound S, like this. So let's do it together. No, don't speak. What did you feel when you ended doing S? Did you feel your stomach pushing your hands?
To be honest, I don't know.
Okay, so put your hands a bit lower. I love honesty.
I love honesty.
I was
more focused on running out of air because you were going much longer than I expected. Don't let her beat you. Don't let her beat you. Don't you dare let her beat you. You're on camera.
But I'm breathing better. I'm breathing better for the last 5 years.
Okay, let's do it.
So I should be a bit longer than you. Otherwise, I wouldn't be a good coach. So I will tell you technically what will happen. When you exhale, your diaphragm goes in, and then when you want to inhale again, it will come out and it will push your palms. So that's how you get in touch with your correct diaphragmatic breathing. Because babies do it. When you watch a baby sleeping, you watch his stomach raising and going up and down. So that's so. What I do with people is I help them focus their attention there, and that's how they will be able to breathe more consciously from the diaphragm, which will do two things. Will give you much more air in order for you to sustain your sound, and will calm your body.
Okay.
Because we speak better when we are relaxed, not when we are tense and afraid.
Yeah.
When we are relaxed. So, can I challenge you to an exercise?
Okay.
Let's find out how imaginative and creative William is.
Okay.
Not only on the digital
digital marketing. Yeah.
So I want to take you through an exercise that I take all my participants in my workshops that will ignite your imagination and creativity, and to prove you and everybody that it's just so easy and simple to speak in public.
Okay.
Because people think, oh, I have to prepare, I have to think. No, you have to trust your creative genius.
Yeah.
Okay? So I'm going to ask you to give me a word, any word you want, and I will become an expert at that particular word. So make it as hard as you want. I don't care.
Okay. Okay.
And then while I'm speaking, I want you to listen, which I know you're very good at. Pick up a word that you want, and then say, as an expert at, or as an expert in this particular word, and then you start to become an expert in that particular
and
that particular thing.
Right,
yeah?
Let's do this.
You got it?
Let's do it.
Let's do it. Give me the word.
Water.
As an expert in water, I teach this all over the world. I actually travel as a public speaking coach, and I teach people the importance of water. Water is considered the food of the brain. We are 70% water, and drinking water is very important to how you think, with how you function, with your creativity.
Creativity. So, being an expert on creativity, I'm able to do anything that I want whenever I want because I just make it up because it's creative. So there's no reason why it has to be thought out. I make it up as I go.
Go. As an expert in going, I tell people, let's just all go. I mean, Nike gave us the get-go from the beginning when they said, just do it. I say to people, just go. You know, like just go into the speech, just go into a relationship.
Relationship is kind of funny because I've been in so many in my life. I really don't know where to stop and be. Let's not put that up there.
Okay, so you got it.
Yeah.
So I know that you are very well spoken, but for people in class, they stop and let's say I have, usually it's between 12 and 15 people. So I split them in two. I have 6 and 6. Most 2 or 3 people are like, no, I'm not gonna go. And I'm like, you must go. It's all about pushing yourself into the exercise. So in the workshop, I create this safe space where they get to experience and experiment. And that's how after the class, they are able to have the same mindset and attitude of just putting themselves into, let me pick a word. Because that's what we do when we network, when we go to an event. We hear something, we hear a word, and then we can start to build on that.
Yeah.
But that's what people don't do because they don't have the chance to practice.
Yeah.
So, one last challenge for you.
Okay.
Since you're so good at it.
Okay.
We can close this episode. You said episode number 10?
Yeah.
See, I listen too.
Yeah. Listen, this is good.
It's part of our job. For God's sake. Let's close with a story, but I'm not going to tell you a story. You're not going to tell me a story. We're going to tell a story together.
Okay.
So this exercise is called one word at a time. So basically, we will tell a story one word at a time.
Okay. Was I supposed to jump in there?
No.
I was like, and you finished the story. Okay. Episode's over. Let's go. Let's keep it.
That was me being generous with explaining.
Okay.
So the story has to be obviously once upon a time, and we have to end it. And the beauty is that your brain and my brain is going to be like super synced now, because like I have to continue whatever you're saying.
Yeah.
So just one word. Once.
Upon.
Time.
A woman.
A woman.
Left.
A
city.
Because
she
wasn't
happy
at
all
one
day
she
woke
up
in
some
random
bed
confused
because
she
didn't
understand
why
she
was
there.
Then
The
sun
came
up,
and
so
she
and
a
man
woke
up,
and
told
the
woman
go
away.
please.
Now
She
was
happy.
because
She
was
ready
to
leave
him.
now.
Then
There
was
a
cat
meowing
at
at them.
because
She
was
confused.
as well. The
Woman
saw
a
another
cat
and
was
emotional.
because
She
wanted
to
leave
them
them both,
with,
the man or man.
so
She
told
him
to
call
the
Uber.
and
She
left
left.
the.
And
Okay. So you see how at the beginning we had Once Upon a Time and we ended up with a woman.
call me an Uber.
I think she took the cats too.
Yeah, she's like, he doesn't know how to take care of them.
Yeah. That's it. The end.
And so you just take them through this process, because I mean, it sounds like you're also just doing a lot of mental work and then these exercises at the same time.
So I've started acting in US in 2013, as well as improv here at Courtyard Playhouse with the amazing Kemsley Dickinson, and I've taken like 2 years of improv exercises. So I've taken improv and lots of other acting exercises to the public speaking, because when you become a public speaker, you become a certain character, and that becoming process is what I'm focusing on.
Yeah.
And that's why elements from acting and from performance are natural.
All connected, yeah.
All connected, yeah.
Yeah. So is there anything else you want to share? Maybe share your Instagram, how people can find you.
Oh, you must follow me on Instagram because I post stories, fun stories, lots of teachings on Andreea Zoia. And yeah, connect with me on LinkedIn, on Instagram, and let's speak better, tell better stories, and help you be the most confident version of yourself.
Awesome. That was a great episode. I appreciate you being on.
Thank you so much for having me and for telling really nice stories with me. Thank you.
All right, thank you.